And the other sort of big context about this, and we're talking about relaxation and release, and the bigger conversation around those ideas is the conversation around surrender. There's actually quite a controversy that's been raging for centuries in India about surrender, about the nature of surrender. As you study more Hindu stuff, you'll probably run into this. Maybe you have already. It's the controversy between the kitten and the baby monkey. Have you heard about this one? Anyone? So, and there have been wars fought over this, of people from the opposing camps who have these doctrinal differences, and, very interesting when you look into the history of it. So, the kitten. The mother cat picks up the kitten by the scruff of the neck and carries it around and puts it where it needs to be. So say the people who embrace this idea of complete and utter surrender. That is how we must be. Now, of course, surrender to what? In the religious theistic concept, it's surrender to God. How to establish this relationship to something that's supreme. Is it through our own effort, or is it through simply letting go and letting it happen? And the people who simply want to let it happen are the kittens. They use the kitten metaphor for that. Now, the baby monkey, by contrast, clings to its mother, grabs her fur with prehensile appendages at the end of 4 of its limbs, okay, and holds on. And the mother climbs and swings and moves around and does whatever it does with the baby clinging to her. And so the baby monkey people say we must be, because it does require some effort. It doesn't just happen all on its own. We have to do something. We have to exert some effort, And so the controversy rages.
Back to what you said there, with Tapaha and the Ishvara Pranidhana and the Swadhyaya.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really...
Well, that's where I'm going with this, because, both camps agree that surrender is desirable, because that's the relationship that the individual should have to whatever is bigger than the individual. And if you're an atheist like me, there's no God involved in this process. It's just that, I recognize that there are things in the universe that I'm not in control over. I'm not in control of them. I have no say in how certain things happen. So the only rational relationship I can have with those things is to surrender. But what I would say is that surrender is always an act of will, whether you're the kitten or the monkey. Because if something came along and picked you up by the scruff of the neck, would you simply go completely limp and let that happen? Is that something that just will happen all on its own without any attention or effort or focus or choice on your part? No, you have to choose to let go. You have to choose to allow yourself to be carried around by whatever it is that's doing the carrying. Maybe with a cat, it's an instinct. But we're not cats, we're humans. And we have deeply rooted reactions to things like being picked up by the scruff of the neck. Metaphorically speaking, of course, this is not something that anatomically happens with humans. Okay. So, whether it's the choice to grab onto something to maintain that relationship, or the choice to release into the experience and let yourself be carried by it, the thing that both of those have in common is it's a choice. And a choice is an act of will. It doesn't happen on its own. And anyone who thinks that they're avoiding that by not choosing, well, they've made the choice to not choose. This is an old discussion. In fact, there's a Rush song about it. Okay? At a certain point, the Rush guys read a lot of Ayn Rand. Right. So, you know, surrender is an act of will, is what I'm saying. And it's really hard work to not work so hard.